Well, everyone, it was brought to my attention that I wasn't doing the best job I could do. I had some people say in the last couple weeks, hey, I love the episodes, but it's just you catching fish. You still haven't taught me how to fish. Why don't you help a brother out? So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to teach you how to fish if you don't know anything about it. There's a lot of you that do, and you know more than I do, but I'll teach you what I know, starting from the start. Starting from the start. The fishing rod and reel. Let's say you just went to the garage sale or yard sale and you just picked up 2 rods. One's a 2-piece, just like that. And the other one is a 1-piece. 6 foot long, doesn't come apart. It's all 1 piece. The thing about these longer rods like this is when you store them, they have to be laying flat. They can't be bent at all because they will take on a little bit of a bend to them. If you lean them up against a wall, they're just going to bend. So you need to either have them in a rod holder of some sort or have them laying flat so that they don't bend. These 2 pieces, you can put them anywhere. So it's got a reel on it because it came with it there. The one you just bought at the garage sale doesn't have a reel, and you don't know how to put one on. So let me show you a little something. There's a little screw right here, little threads, right? You've got this little plate with the outward indentations. You just slide that in to the top, and then you just screw that right back up till it's nice and tight. That's easier said than done sometimes. This is an old rod. I've had this rod for about 30 years. I just love it. It's not for catching bigger fish, but 3 pounds, 4 pounds and under, it's a nice little rod. It's a 6-footer. Little Cardinal Bronco reel, nothing fancy. Like I said, just got it at a yard sale. Paid $10. So you put that little 2-piecer together like that. Now rods also come, and then you look down the eyelet and you make sure they're all lined up before you cinch it nice and tight. That's all you need. You don't need it any tighter than that. Now you got your 2 pieces together. There are some rods that are more than 2 pieces. There's 3 pieces, there's 5 pieces. I have a 5-piece fly rod. Beautiful little unit. Love that thing. The reason they break down like that, they're a little bit easier to transport. Your reel doesn't have any line on it. What do you want? You bought it at a garage sale. So we're going to do that first. We're going to put the line on the reel. And since this is my 6-footer, we're going to use a little bit lighter line. This is 6-pound monofilament. It's got a little tab on top here. You take that off, stick it on the side because you're going to need that later. And the way that you have to do this is you have to run it all the way through the eyelets, right from the top of the fishing rod. So right from that spool of line that you just bought, put a clear line through these little holes. These are both spin cast reels and rods. And the way you know it's a spin cast rod is because these eyelets have extensions right here, so they sit down a little bit farther. If it was a bait caster, these would be attached right up tight, kind of like that one right there. But they're not. It's a spin cast. We've got it run all the way back down. This is called a bail right there. And this rod or reel has a couple ways to open it. You can do it manually or you can pull the trigger. And I got this thing taken apart for transport. So you take this little threaded screw right here, you tighten her up, get that reel into position. I like to reel with the left hand. You can really reel with whatever hand you want. All right, so I've got it through the eyes. I've got my bail up, or you can do it with the bail down. Just make sure that you run the string up on the line up underneath the bail before you tie a knot on there. I find it a little easier with the bail up. So that's the way I'm gonna do it. You do it whichever way looks easiest to you. I'm gonna just do a basic little square knot. Cinch it nice and tight. 3 times just for good luck. 3rd time's a charm. Click my bail. take my little lead here, the one that I don't want, the long tail. Alright, so I've got it running all the way through the end of my rod and just start reeling. Just throw this thing down on the ground anywhere. That's about 20 feet in front of me. I have the line pinched in between my fingers because I want this to go on the spool nice and tight. So you just start winding, start reeling. And you just keep it pinched right there at the fingers so you've got tension and it rolls up on the reel, the spool, nice and neat. That's about as much as you want to put on that spool. You go any more and you're going to have problems when you're casting. If you fill it all the way up and you go to cast, a bunch of it will come off when you don't want it to. So there's the end of my line. Now if you're fishing off the bottom, trolling, and you need something, some weight to get it down there, this is the time that you would put on your weight. You just slide it on like that, and then you would put your barrel swivel right there. That's what it looks like. You tie that on to the end, and then from this end you would have your line with your hook, whatever it is, lure, bait, whatever, and as long as you need it. I've used them anywhere from 1.5 feet to 4 feet per leader, so whatever you're fishing for determines how long that leader is going to be. I'm not doing it that way though, so we're going to take that weight back off, and I'm going to put on a swivel. Snap swivel is what this one's called. The one I had in my hand was called a barrel swivel, the earlier one. This one here, that's a barrel swivel, and this is a snap swivel. Go right through the eye of that swivel, and I pull out, oh, good, what was that, 5-6 inches? Yeah, right. That's what she said. And I just start twisting it, and I'm using my finger to hold it in place until I twist it again. So I've got like 14 twists in there, you see that? About 14 of those little bad boys. And I've got a hole here at the end, right there with my fishing line. And that is where the end of that line that I just twisted is going to go, right into that hole. There we go. You grab the end of it. You get your finger out of that. You pull it a little bit, and you've got another loop. So you take that you just ran through that little loop by the base there at the swivel, and run it through this loop here at the top. And then you grab it again. You grab that loose end. Now, this is where it's really important. You got to lubricate all your knots before you cinch them. If you don't, it could create a friction burn, especially with monofilament, and burn the line and damage it, make it a little weaker. This is called an executioner's knot, from what I've been told, and it's 100% non-slip knot, so it's the only one I use. There's lots of knots out there. There's lots of guys and gals out there using different types of knots, but that's the one I use. And you just clean up the end, get that a little bit shorter if you want, but that's going to work. All right, so I got my new line on. I got my snap swivel. All right, now you're ready to travel. You're safe. You don't have a hook. I recommend traveling with the hook off. It's just going to prevent accidents, problems, challenges. I've seen too many things happen. It gets hooked in the upholstery of your vehicle, gets hooked in the hand as you reach for it. So when you're walking with these things, there's only one way to do it when you're going through bush. From your transportation to the water's edge, sometimes you're going to be going through trees and things like that. You don't want the reel back here and the rod out in front of you. That's a good way to break your rod. I recommend walking through trees just like this. Just like that. That way everything's behind you. It's a good way to protect your rod when you're walking to get to the water. Just another helpful hint from Whitebeard Angler.